Okay, here we have is a little over a pound of cleaned and deveined shrimp. As you can see, I clean this all off, and a big mistake a lot of people do is they don't clean it all the way to the tail. I don't know if you can see this, but because the reason is that the vein goes all the way down, and I like to have the shrimp cleaned all the way, so I clean it all the way down to the tail. Okay, and I use a knife to cut the back. Here's our breadcrumbs. I put them in here so it's easier to mix up and bread my shrimp when I'm done. I got my 5 eggs, and here's a bag of flour. And what I do is I put my shrimp into the bag of flour so it's easier to coat them all. And then you'll see it with the next steps when I dip them in the egg and then I breadcrumb them. But first what we're going to do is I'm going to season my breadcrumbs a little bit. What I do is I put a little salt, and I crush some fresh black pepper in there, and my locatelli grated cheese I put inside. Okay, we'll put that off to the side, and we give it a nice mix. And you can see it's all getting mixed up. Okay, we'll put that off to the side, and now we'll take our eggs. Another thing, instead of using a bowl, I use a deep dish like this, so it's easy to get the shrimp in and without having any spillage. There's 1, 2. Can you make that fried shrimp? And I laugh because it's such an easy thing that I put together. Okay, what I do is I crack my eggs, and of course I put a little cheese. This is a little trick that I do. I put a little cheese in there, maybe about 3 or 4 little forks. And I put a little black pepper and a little salt again, and I mix it up. And it's easy to mix up in here. You don't have to worry about it going over the sides. Okay, that's what we got. We got our eggs mixed up. Okay. Now, next step, we gotta flour our shrimp. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pat it down a little bit because I just cleaned them, just so they're not so wet. Pat it down a little bit. Okay. Put this off to the side. And I usually put about 5 shrimps in at a time. I give it a nice tossing in the bag. Make sure that the shrimp are covered with the flour. Okay. The next step is we'll move our eggs over here. We'll put our other ingredients off to the side for now, and our bread. So what I do is take the shrimp out. Look how nice that comes out. Okay? It's fully covered in flour. I put it into the egg. Shake off any excess flour that you have on the shrimp. And another good reason to use 5 in a bag is when you pull them out, you can count to 5, and you don't lose a shrimp inside there. And then what you do is you just mix it up in the egg just so it can be coated. Okay? And we're going to move this over here. And then we take it out of the egg and put it in. I usually put 2 in at a time, just so it doesn't get overcrowded. So now it's in there. And then what we do is just turn it over. Turn the breadcrumbs over. Pat down. Pat down. Make sure you have a nice little coating on there. And voila. Your first fried shrimp. That's all it is. That's all it takes. Okay? Put the breadcrumbs all around. There you go. Shrimp with the egg. And same thing. We'll mix it up. We'll mix it up. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. We'll put it down. And here we go. Number 5. What I like to do is I like to hold the shrimp in my hand and pour the breadcrumbs in and squeeze it around all sides so it gets a nice coating. Okay, but it gets a little dirty, as you can see. Now you got the egg and the flour and everything else on your hands. Okay, here we go. We got 5 in here. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Here it is. I breaded all the shrimp. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to put some vegetable oil into a pan. So we're going to let this heat up. And then once that gets a little hot, we're going to put the shrimp in. A good way to check your oil to see if it's done or hot and ready to put the shrimp in, you take a little piece of the breadcrumbs from the shrimp and you put it right into the oil. And if you see it start to bubble, you're just about there, or you're there to start. So here we go. This is what I'm going to do. I just pull a little piece off of breadcrumb and I put it in. And once I see that start to bubble up, I know it's time to start frying the shrimp. Here we have a plain plate. We'll put the shrimp once it starts to cook. What I like to use once I put the shrimp in and to turn them over is I like to have a spoon like this that has the hole so the oil can go through, and a fork so to avoid splatter with the oil. I'm turning it over to splatter the oil, which can become dangerous. Okay, we're just about done. I'm going to throw a little more piece of breadcrumb in. It looks like it's getting right there. About another minute or so, or 30 seconds, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start putting my shrimp in. You don't want to overcrowd the pan because you want it to be able to cook on all sides. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we'll put this off on the side. Looks like. Okay. And you just got to be careful that you don't burn the breadcrumbs. And then we're going to turn it over and we'll have a first batch of fried shrimp ready. Another good trick. Take like 2 sheets of paper towel, fold them, and put it on your plate that you'll be putting the shrimp on so it absorbs some of the oil off of it. And these cook pretty fast. I'm going to start turning them already. Got a nice little gold crust on there. Okay, we're going to check them. Okay, I'm turning them again. They're just about done. What I like to do also is, I have the heat on high. Just before I'm about to pull them off, I like to drop it down to a medium. So when I put the next batch of shrimp in, the oil isn't going to scorch it and burn the breadcrumb. And then I will put it back up. Okay, here's one. Put that over there. Put the rest of them in. These. Okay, make room for these. Yeah, there's plenty of room for these. Now we'll bring the heat up a little bit. Okay. We'll show you what these shrimp, the dome ones, look like. Oh, those look good, huh? It's so simple. Actually, this batch you want to watch. You might want to turn these quicker because the oil was very hot and the breadcrumbs tend to brown very fast. And with shrimp, it cooks very fast also. So you got to be careful that you don't burn the breadcrumbs and overcook the shrimp on the inside. Okay, and then we're going to go and let those sit there. Well, I wish you could be here. It smells so good. Reason I'm making these today, I got a phone call today from a friend of mine. Said, wow, I can go for those fried shrimp today. And he planted the seed in my head. Let me make some of these fried shrimp. I told him to come over. I'll have some ready for him. Turn that off. Move this away. And there's our final product.